Hey, what's going on, everyone? I'm back for another Slim Sports interview. As always, I'm your host, Jay Slim, and joining me today is a 6'3" linebacker from the University of Buffalo. This past season, he took a huge jump, knocking people's heads together, forcing some fumbles, and getting that quarterback in the backfield. I'm talking about the hard-hitting big man, Red Murdock. What's going on, man?
And we have not seen him since. Second down, under Coupler. Boy, he had no time to throw. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. All right, first question. So for everyone that knows my brand, they know I got my notes, I got the questions over here. While I just introduced you, it kind of occurred to me, is it kind of ironic that your nickname is red and Buffalo is all blue throughout the campus logo, everything? Has that ever occurred to you?
Yeah, absolutely. All my school, I've never played, only played for like one red team my entire life. So, so yeah, it's pretty ironic. I played for the Blue Devils throughout multiple schools, and then I go to an all blue school. It's just, yeah.
I just thought that was kind of funny. It just kind of popped in my head. So it was interesting. But as for the first actual question that I have, uh, your first year, you ended up playing a couple games, then redshirt throughout the rest of the season. And this past year was that first full season on the field for the Buffalo Bulls, playing in that linebacker spot. Talk to me real quick about what it meant to you, like that feeling to finally be able to play a full season of college football for your team.
My main thing, I just wanted to contribute. Like, I didn't even really plan on redshirt my freshman year. Like, my whole thing we got here, that MAC championship, that's the number one goal. So anything I can do to help the team reach that by any means necessary, I would have burned that red shirt if that meant helping us win that MAC championship, even if it was just me playing shoot 6, 7 games and having 4, 5 more tackles. That was so like being able to finally actually contribute like meaningful reps towards the team last season and being able to start and develop as a leader, and it's like getting even better this year. Like it means a lot to me to be able to bring that much towards the program that fully embraced me and was able to change my life. Just trying to reciprocate that love.
Oh yeah, and this past season, like I said, that first full season, the year before, you appeared in 5 games before ending up redshirting. Saw a little bit of time. You had 6 solo tackles throughout the year, 5 of them coming against one team in Bowling Green. So that was, kind of that welcome to college football game for you, that Bowling Green one, where you were able to contribute, like you said. Do you feel like those first, couple of games, that true freshman season before you redshirted, kind of helped give you a feel heading into this past season where you obviously made a huge contribution for your team?
Oh, absolutely. My entire freshman year kind of set me up like amazingly for my redshirt freshman year because I early enrolled, and when I enrolled, one of the starters were coming off surgery. So I was taking 1 reps on my very like 3 weeks into being on a college campus, and that's a lot of full speed reps. And then coming in, I was like right after Dolak and JP, two probably gonna be in the Buffalo books. I was next up, so I was taking a ton of reps in practice, and even though it didn't translate to the game, I was able to develop a lot under them, and it definitely played a big role into my success the next year. And a
Mhm.
funny story about the Bowling Green game, I was really starting to like actually we were gonna go into like a not necessarily a three linebacker like even rotation, but I was gonna get some meaningful reps throughout the rest of the season likely. Then I had a pretty good game, Bowling Green. Then the fourth quarter, like 2 minutes left, sprained my MCL. And yeah, it messed me up. So like, okay, then that red shirt made sense after that point.
Hmm. Yeah, and obviously, you getting that experience, and that would have been awesome seeing you throughout the rest of that season. But obviously, now you get that year back, thankfully, because of that injury. So blessing in disguise type thing. And this past season, you took a huge step up, like I mentioned before. 58 total tackles, 35 of them being solo. You had a pair of sacks on the season, both of them coming against Akron. Which I saw those highlights. That quarterback didn't even get a second on one of them. You just came in guns blazing. Got to give you
Yes.
props for that. And then 4 forced fumbles on the year. So, how would you say you really stepped up throughout this past season, game after game, to kind of become more of a, you know, focal point for the defense to where the opposing offense was like, all right, this guy's going to take our head off if we go anywhere near him?
I mean, I would really say I've always been like it wasn't a change as far as work ethic. I've always been like doing whatever I can to get better, but it's more so one of my coaches had told me my freshman year, like it's kind of that little learning curve. Like it's gonna be sometimes you're gonna be like real stagnant, and then you're just gonna have that time where it shoots up and everything starts to make sense. The game started to slow down a lot for me. My second spring ball, and then at that point, it's a lot of stuff just clicked so much more. Balls started coming out when I started punching and stuff like that. It's just like everything really started to make sense more.
Yeah, you helped turn the ball over to get your team the possession. And the final 6 games, you got that starting nod. So you had a few starts uh, kind of throughout the regular season. And then those final 6 straight games was when you kind of solidified your spot as that starter. I believe after that Akron game where you had those 2 sacks, I believe after that was when you kind of took on that starting role. What did it mean to you to earn that starting spot finally after all of that hard work you had put in?
So the main thing, I really didn't think much of it because throughout the entire season, like if you look at the reps per game, it's the exact same amount of reps. What we did, we had like a line, like a three linebacker type system. So the first 4 games, it was me, Dolak, and Sean Dolak, the 2022 MAC Defensive Player of the Year. Just like an older brother to me, love the kid to death. He just came back to Buffalo too. And then Joe Andreessen, he just signed with the Bills. It was us three for the first 4 games. And then we had the older guys come up first, and then I was the third linebacker in rotation, but the reps were split. Then after the fourth game, Sean Dolak had a season ending injury. But also the third game, I ended up having if you look at Liberty, the game I had 1 tackle, I had turf toe. So I was kind of battling through that for maybe the next 4 games. So I wasn't coach didn't feel comfortable having me starting with me barely being able to run. That's why it was pretty ironic. I was able to perform like that Akron game because that was my first kind of actual time playing for real. Because Louisiana game too, I had 1 tackle that game. That's because I had 2 reps that game. I was really like hobbling the entire week. So once I was able to like show coach I was fully healthy and everything like that, that's when it was just finally got to start nod. But as far as reps, besides the Louisiana game, they didn't really switch because we had that rotation. Because Deion Crawford, amazing young linebacker. You gonna hear his name a lot next season. He stepped up into the starting role until I was able to come back and be fully healthy. And then once that happened, we still all got the same amount of reps and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you obviously produced a lot once you were able to get all of those reps. Obviously, those injuries were unfortunate, but then, like I mentioned, the Akron game, you just went off. You had those 2 sacks there. You had a game against Eastern Michigan, had a forced fumble, 10 tackles with 7 solo tackles in that game. You had 8 total tackles in 3 straight games against Miami, Ohio, and Toledo. I mean, you were able to find your stride and just keep on going with it. Was there ever a moment where you were on the field during these games where, you just kind of realized, okay, yeah, I'm doing this at a high level and I can compete with the best of the best in the country?
Literally, I say Toledo. That was the exact game when everything really clicked. Like I told you like how I mentioned how spring ball was 2023 kind of everything slowed down for me, but I really didn't have that same coming from high school to college, your confidence drops a little bit because everybody's like a baller. But I finally got like that little sense of swagger back and everything like that, and I was really out there having fun being myself. I had the little strip, and then I had this one tackle on the running back number 0, the dog. He returned the kick on the first play. But yeah, had a little tackle on him and stuff like that. It was probably like that's when I got that feeling of yeah, I'm really, really, really in here to Toledo. They was gonna make it to the MAC championship. They make it to the MAC championship almost every year. Really good team, offense, high power, like talent all across the board. So being able to have a really good game against them, and I had 8 tackles and a forced fumble, ball getting ejected in the third quarter. So I feel like I had probably one of my best games against them, probably one of the best offenses in the MAC. That's when I really got my feeling like, okay, I can really do it against whoever.
hmm Yeah, and you had, that breakout season. The team as a whole for Buffalo, unfortunately, kind of went through a little bit of struggles. 3-9 overall, 3-5 in MAC action. Talk to me real quick, as you know, one of those main guys on the field for the Buffalo defense. What went into the struggles for your team this past season?
I'd say finishing. Like if you look, we had that 3 game stretch you were just talking about with Toledo, Miami, Ohio, and Ohio. I'd say those probably the three most consistently successful programs in the MAC throughout probably the last 5 years. And we were in it with, well, besides Toledo. But our defense well, the last 2 games when we were really fighting for our fighting for our life with Miami, Ohio, and Ohio. Fourth quarter, I think like 3-3 against Ohio, and then 3-10 Miami, Ohio. We really had a finishing problem. A lot of games really let it slip through our hands. We were 10-3 with Wisconsin at halftime. Saw Fordham, lost to the last minute with them. A lot of games really let slip through our hands. I say besides Toledo, which got out of hand early, and Liberty, there wasn't any team that we really had we really had no chance with. Like you, nobody. Well, I say we got a chance with anybody, and I definitely believe we had a chance with Toledo, forcing 4 turnovers and but well, what's called it? But I say besides the Liberty and Toledo game, there wasn't any team that was like really overpowering us. If looking at it from a viewer standpoint. I
Mhm.
really just had problems finishing and getting it all together.
Yeah, and you just mentioned your past schedule this past season in 2023. Looking ahead to the 2024 schedule, you guys start off with Lafayette, and then you got an SEC competition in Missouri. You got UConn, UMass in that non-conference schedule, and then obviously the MAC going against the Toledos, Miami, Ohio, who ended up winning the MAC championship this past season. Very, very tough 2024 schedule. So how are you looking towards this upcoming season with this competition? What are your thoughts on this schedule and what the Buffalo Bulls will be able to do in 2024?
I mean, if I'm completely honest with you, I don't really focus on like. I mean, I know we got some tough people ahead of us. Of course, Missouri just beat Ohio State. They got one of the best receivers in the nation. Lafayette got the running back from the DMV. He was just All American, all that. I understand there's gonna be talent that we play, but if anything I learned, it doesn't really matter between Wisconsin or whether we was playing Fordham. Like when you get there, it's all about us handling what we got to handle. We beat ourselves a lot last season, so when we focus on ourselves and get all that figured out, it doesn't matter about who we're playing. As long as we can be our best selves, it'll handle itself.
You already
So
got that veteran Already
yeah,
got that veteran mindset right there. That's a leader right there. And I've talked with Marcus Fuqua, who's been on this show a couple of times. He's kind of said the same thing, same kind of mentality. We don't look ahead to who we're gonna go against. A couple weeks from now, we look at the next competition and we're planning on beating them. And I know with him coming back, he was an All-American in 2022. All conference guy last year as well. And, obviously you at that linebacker spot, him back there at safety. You guys got a good defensive line, good group overall this upcoming season for the Buffalo defense. Talk to me real quick about what the defensive side of the ball for the Bulls specifically needs to do to keep you guys in contention and, help out the offense to where they're able to score and get you guys all those wins.
I said we just brought in a dog at defense coordinator, Coach Joe Bowen. He was just the defense coordinator from Miami, Ohio, who just won the MAC championship. So he kind of knows he knows what it looks like, and he just coached 2 really good linebackers, Matt Salapak and Ty Wise, both had over 120 tackles. Like that's a I don't know, we got a really good coach coming in, really good defense, and the main thing that we need that for us to be successful and not even just stay in contention to win this MAC championship, we just got to focus on like all the stuff that requires no talent, like making sure you're locked into the playbook. Everybody across the entire board, whether you're a 4 or a 1, everybody locked into the playbook, knowing your job. One thing I learned through college is it's really about doing what you need to do, doing what you're not necessarily consistently doing what you're told to do, but like really being a step ahead of everything and just making sure you're getting everything handled. All that stuff that requires no time, running to the ball, making sure your angle's right, all that stuff, everything else will handle itself.
Yeah, and now obviously having that first full season under your belt heading into next year, we talked about the improvements that you made to your game this past season. Obviously, you're still young. You still got a couple more years of college football left in you before hopefully eventually making it to that NFL level. How are you looking to really improve your game even further for this 2024 season so you can have not just your own individual success, get those accolades, but also help lead Buffalo to a MAC championship?
So throughout high school, I played defensive end to my junior year, and I never played a full season of middle linebacker in high school. So still learning the entire off the ball linebacker thing, that was kind of it's so based on what I'm saying is I'm still developing as an off the ball linebacker, and Coach Bowen is definitely helping me to foster a whole bunch of different type of basically right now, the main thing I say like footwork, knowing when and what situations to use certain techniques. Of course, adding certain techniques and moves to my toolbox, being a better pass rusher, whether it's from 5 yards or from the line of scrimmage, stuff like that. I could have had probably 5 sacks rather than those two, anything like that. So, and making sure I win my one-on-ones, whether it's in like pass pro with a running back or pass coverage with a tight end or a running back, stuff like that. Like anything that's outside. So this is stuff that's like more so harnessing, like making sure I get that like get my whole tool, but like we building that toolbox right now. That's basically what it is. And then also I'm trying to really learn how to dissect film and it's like to be like 3 steps ahead of anybody else on the field. Probably
Grow
other
that
than
IQ.
yeah, other than though like he's like another Luke Kuechly. I'm trying to get on that level. Be in the film room a lot with him because if you watch man, I watch a lot of Luke Kuechly film. Man's a demon. And like it just inspired me so much knowing that it's really possible to know like exactly what this offense is about to do. Like right before they do it. You're telling like you're running to the spot before the running back gets there and stuff like that. I'm not there yet, but I've definitely been making strides. That's probably the thing I'm most excited for. And then as far as like specific like physical stuff, pass rushing, that's another big step I want to make.
Well, I can't wait to see what you do this upcoming season. Like I said, you got those 2 sacks against Akron this past season. You had 4 forced fumbles throughout the year. And I have a feeling we're going to see your name on the stat sheet for a lot more forced fumbles, fumble recovery, sacks, would hopefully get a couple interceptions in there as well. I know you got to compete with Marcus there with those interceptions. So
And he
definitely.
wanted me to tip the J's too. Can't do
Oh
that.
yeah. Hey man, definitely excited to have you on. Between you and Marcus, I'm definitely going to be a Buffalo fan this upcoming season. And with that NCAA football game coming out, I'm going to be playing a whole lot as the Buffalo Bulls. So definitely
Sir.
excited to see what you're going to do this upcoming season. And thank you so much for doing this interview with me, man.
No problem. I appreciate you having me.